Hey, what's up, y'all? I hope you are having a fantastic week. So, if you've been tuning into these, I hope you've been taking notes. You've been taking the opportunity to learn and grow from these opportunities that are given to you today. This is free content. You're welcome. But today, what I'm going to talk to you about is the number one thing, the primary thing that white people need to know when they are beginning engaging in, whether it's from the beginning, you've been doing it for a while or not. What you need to know before you get started into anti-racism. You need to be reminded of this while you're doing it. Before we do that, I'm just going to briefly introduce myself, and I'm also going to ask you a question. I'm Monique Melton. I am a wife. I'm a mother. I am a friend, a daughter, a sister. I'm also in my business. I'm an entrepreneur. So I am an anti-racism educator. I create learning opportunities to learn about anti-racism so you can learn how to identify and eliminate racism. I also am a published author, international speaker, a coach. I work one-on-one with people. I want to talk about anti-racism. All right, my question. At what point did you realize that you wanted to get started with anti-racism? Was it something that happened? Did you read something? Did you go to an event and you became made aware of something? Can you think of a moment where the light switch went off for you that it was like, hey, I actually want to learn about anti-racism? I want you to think about that, reflect on it. I would love to hear from you. And as you think about that, I want you to think about what type of information did you seek out? What type of resources did you try to find? I want you to think about that. What were your next steps when you said, okay, this is a problem. I'm a white person. I don't know what to do about it. I need to do something about it. So what am I going to do? What was the next step that you took? I want to know. Now, I'm asking you this because I want you to think about this information that I'm sharing in terms of what every white person needs to know before they get started in anti-racism. The thing is, if you're here, you've probably already began your journey of anti-racism. If you're here and you have not, that's okay too. Here's to the start of the journey. But the things you really need to know and what you really need to understand and keep at the forefront of your mind and at the center of this work is that anti-racism is not for white people. Okay? Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Anti-racism work, it is definitely created for white people to engage in. Okay? It is definitely created so that you will learn how to stop being racist. Okay? But when I say that it's not for you, I mean that it is not designed for you to benefit from directly. Okay? So the benefits that you reap from engaging in anti-racism are more like the indirect results that occur by engaging in something that is not necessarily designed for your direct benefit. So let me give you an example. Let's say you were in your bathroom and you were doing your facials and you were using an exfoliant to smooth out your skin on your face. Now, while you're doing that, it's designed, you're using your fingers, it's designed for you to exfoliate your face and make your face feel smoother and all those things. But while doing that, you also are making your fingers smoother, but you didn't do it so that your fingers would be smoother and softer. You're doing it so that your skin would be softer, but you're benefiting from it indirectly. Now, if you made the focus about your hands and you just started doing all the things with your hands and making the attention all about what you were doing with your hands, then you're losing focus of what the intention of the work is. Similar with anti-racism work. When you engage in anti-racism work, you are definitely going to benefit. You are going to benefit by having more confidence, by having more clarity, by having more courage to identify and eliminate racism. That is certainly going to be a benefit of doing this work. But the result of doing that, the direct result of doing that, direct impact, the direct point of contact, like the skin on your face, is that people of color will not have to continue to suffer under the oppression created by racism. So, with that being said, it is important to remember, it is important to remind yourself, and it's important to know that as you engage in anti racism, it's not about you, okay? It's not about your pride. It's not about your ego. It's not about your comfort. It's not about your convenience. It's not about your bank account. It's not about your ability to understand racism. It's not about your ability to agree whether or not something is racist. And it's certainly not about your intentions. And I think of all of those that I listed, one of the ones that a lot of white people choke up on the most is the intentions. And so when you think about engaging in something that is really challenging and that really calls for you to dig deep and you make a mistake, one of the first things that white people want to do is they want to tell us all about their intentions, their good intentions. I see this online all the time where maybe a white person is getting called out for something problematic that they're doing. And they perhaps were doing that thing in an effort to help people of color, but they did it in a problematic way. And so a lot of times I see the responses of, oh, now you're just alienating us. I don't know what we can do better. Now we're just afraid to make mistakes. This makes me not want to do this work anymore. And so my intentions were this, my intentions were that, my intentions were this. But here's the thing, I don't give a damn about your intentions. Because if I'm in the car and I'm driving my car, okay, and I swerve and hit someone, and that person suffers because of that, okay, that person is injured, they are in pain. What good is it for me to get out of my car and say, oh my goodness, I was actually intending on driving down the street to get to my house. I didn't mean to hit you. I'm a really good person. I was trying really hard today. What good is that going to do for that person? How is that going to help that person recover from the pain of your impact? The intentions do not mean anything. Now, where intentions matter is when it's in the context of doing work in terms of a relationship and you're building trust. If I know that you are blatantly trying to cause harm to me, that lets me know that this is not a place where I can build trust with someone and build a relationship. But in the grand scheme of things, it is really important to know that when you're doing the work of anti-racism and you cause harm, do not center your intentions. Do not center yourselves because it's not about that. It is about the impact. It is about the very thing, the very harm that is being caused to, that is being done to people of color that needs to be changed. So going back to that example, okay, so you get in a car and you're driving and bam, a terrible accident happens and the person is suffering. What would be even worse to do is to then get out of your car and try to stop other drivers and say, hey, teach me how to drive. Teach me how to navigate these roads. Teach me how to do this. That's not their responsibility. That's what happens a lot of times when white people begin to engage in anti-racism. They go looking around for the Black people in their lives and go ask them, well, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, will you teach me this? Oh, will you teach me that? Or they'll go to anti-racism educators, slide in the DM, slide in the comments, slide in the inbox. Teach me this, teach me that, without compensating them for their time. And then when it's the friends, without even asking them if they want to engage in that type of emotional labor. I'll tell you right now, I'm an anti-racism educator and I'm Black. So when I am friends with white people, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I don't want to be your accountability partner. Okay. So that means that when you're doing racist stuff, I don't want you to depend on me to call you out on that. I want you to take it upon yourself to learn how to drive the car safely before you get on the road. Okay. So we're not going to go around asking random drivers who are going throughout life doing their thing to teach you how to drive when it's your responsibility. When you get in that car, it is your responsibility to navigate it safely and making sure that you don't cause harm to yourself, but also to harm to the other people on the road. If you cause an accident and you cause harm to someone, whose responsibility is it to make sure that one, you correct whatever harm is done, and then two, you make sure that harm isn't done again? It's yours. It's no one else's but yours. So when it comes to anti-racism, the responsibility of this work is on white people. You need to learn what it is. You need to learn how to do it. You need to learn how to make sure that when you're doing it, you're not doing it problematically. That is your responsibility so that people of color do not have to continue to experience the suffering of racism. My daughter asked me the other day, just yesterday, actually, because my kids, we talk about racism a lot. Then she came up to me and she said, Mommy, what do Black people do to white people to make them be that way to them? And I said, that's the thing, nothing. Or she was so confused by that because in her mind, this just doesn't make sense that for all this time, all this stuff has been going on. And she's, why don't they just stop? Why doesn't it just stop? And she said, why don't Black people fight back? Why aren't more Black people fighting? I said, baby, we've been fighting for 400 years. I said, the problem is not enough white people are getting in the ring and actually doing their part. And that's what I'm inviting you to do today. I'm inviting you to do your part. I'm not saying that you created the system, okay? You didn't build the car that you were driving. Maybe that car you were driving was passed down to you and it's raggedy. And so every time you get it, it's a miracle that you don't kill somebody. But the truth of the matter is you're still driving it. You're still benefiting from it. You didn't create the system of oppression. You didn't create the system of white supremacy, but you still exist in it and you still benefit from it. So the responsible thing to do would be to dismantle the system. And how are you going to dismantle something without the tools? And how are you going to even know what those tools are if you're not even investing in the process to learn what that is? Just like anything else in life that you've never done before, you got to learn and you got to apply what you're learning. So as I told my kids, I talked to them, I said, we've been doing this work for hundreds of years. But until more white people wake up and realize that, hey, it's actually on me to identify and eliminate racism, we're going to continue to see racism adapting and adapting as such. So with that said, I just want to encourage you. I want to remind you, okay? I want to encourage you with this. You didn't create the system, okay? You weren't born 400 years ago. You're here today. Therefore, there is something you can be doing today to learn more about your responsibility and to take action. What is that next step going to be? I'm encouraging you to consider that next step will be investing in an educational experience, whether that be from me or another anti-racism educator. So this is the perfect time to sign up. I encourage you to look into it. I encourage you to invest in this process so you can learn how to identify and eliminate racism. And you're going to learn in this process. You're going to learn quite a bit in the program, but you're going to definitely learn that it's not about you. Okay? It's not about you. It's about people of color and to benefit people of color. All right. What is the one thing you need to know before engaging in this work? And how will you remind yourself of this? Okay. This work is about centering folks of color. Okay. So how will you remind yourself of this?
We want to invite you to be in community with us at the Shine Bright School, where we are learning, we are growing, and we are taking consistent action to pursue Black liberation, all in community. So let's do it together, y'all. Because what? We shine brighter together.